Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by, tuning in to another spiritual sit down. Um, as I meditated for tonight's session, coming off of the Easter holiday weekend, I really kind of struggled about what topic to talk to you all about because there were so many messages just flowing and flooding through so fast. It's like, okay, Lord, what do you want me to, which one do you want me to say? So I sat here and prayed and meditated about what's the most important message that he wanted me to deliver. And as I did that, I got the message of gratefulness. Okay. So he said that the goal and the action that people should take is gratefulness in this time period. Now, that energy may change, but that's the message that came through. Okay. Now, the bigger piece to that is the why. All right. So, what I heard Spirit say was people are moving too far away from his kingdom. Now, that's quite a statement, particularly after, this Easter holiday. Now, that can be, sorry, I just hit the computer. That can be taken a couple different ways because a lot of people come out at Easter and then you don't see them again. Or a lot of people, they don't connect with him at Easter. Like Easter becomes a dress up day. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody gets their best Easter outfits and, they have all these different services and, it's like spring is here, but people aren't connecting with God in a larger sense because they're connecting with Christ's resurrection. They're connecting with his sacrifice on the cross as his crucifixion. And they're looking at him as a man who did these things, right? As Son of God. Now, in the Bible, unless you guys can point me to the scripture, Jesus never refers to himself as the Son of God. He refers to himself as Son of Man. He refers to his Father, that which whom sent him. He refers to his Father in heaven. So, knowing that he was Emmanuel, God in flesh, he's still God, right? So, this message he's saying, people are moving too far away from my kingdom. That's a huge statement. So when I asked and inquired about his kingdom, because that's so big, his response was, his kingdom is universal. And out of my universe came light. So that means before the light, there was the darkness. So then, as I inquired about the light and the darkness, he said people should look inside oneself. When you go inside yourself, there's darkness that needs to grow to light, or lightness, I should say. So the message that we're moving too far away from his kingdom being universal, and his kingdom being all things in the universe, including Christ, right? Including the different prophets, including everything. Like it's huge. So then he showed me numbers. He went back to 2019. 2019 breaking down to the number 3. Because God will always give you what you need to understand, okay? So, like I said, we're moving too far away from his kingdom. That's huge in so many different aspects. So, like I said, even as he showed me the darkness and the light and telling us to get back to look inside ourselves, to brighten the darkness that's in us to light. And don't get it twisted. The darkness is not always bad, okay? That's a societal thing that was placed on humans and mankind to think that darkness is a bad thing, okay? And lightness is the good thing. But you got to remember, out of the darkness came the light. So the darkness existed prior to the light, okay? And even in the darkness, all that was existing and was so enormous and colossal, it created what we know as light. So that's how magnificent the darkness is. So what's inside of you is hidden. Okay, now I'm getting these messages now. So it's like what's inside of you that's hidden needs to be brought to the light. And that is why he's showing me the number 3 back to 2019. Because the number 3 is about creativity, growth, okay? It's about ambition and blending. Remember we talked about that at the new year. So again, it's about blending this physical realm that we live in, this 3D dimensional realm, with the spiritual realm. Okay? 3 is also, like he kept showing me 3. So when I looked at 3s and like what is 3? Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun. Earth is ground, like Earth is foundational. Okay? It's forming, it's formation. So you understand, it's like grounding. The earth is grounding, like Gaia, earth, grounding. Your root chakra, which is your first chakra, is where grounding needs to occur so everything else can flow through. Okay? So if you're not grounded, your ability to create, manifest, and grow and blend these worlds is going to be inhibited. In order to get to understand his kingdom more, you're going to have to become more grounded. Because he's not going to give you additional information to process if you're not grounded. The way you ground yourself, again, is through your root chakra and with the earth. Like, you literally got to go outside. Stop spending so much time inside, in the office, and home, at home. Like, even if you just go out on in your yard, take your shoes off and touch the earth, like with your feet. Okay. The root chakra is also the color red. So you can wear red. You can, it's different way. You can burn a red candle, but you have to write root chakra on the candle. You have to bless the candle because fire is one of the elements, one of the bigger elements to connect our physical world to the spiritual world, fire and water. But he didn't show me that. He showed me earth. So we got to go with what's being told and what's being shown. So we're moving too far away from his kingdom, and he's universal universe. So you got to get back to understanding the basics, the elements, okay? Earth, wind, fire, water, air. So to connect to his kingdom, which is what in church they're trying to help people, establish their relationships with God and improve their relationships with God, seek his kingdom. The message that I just got tonight is, in order to do that better and more efficiently, you have to become more grounded, because he's not going to give you anything more, because you're not in a position to handle it. Okay. So some of that is because you're letting the world get to you too much. You're letting the world preoccupy you. Okay. So you have to take the time out to get quiet. All right. Now, it's like a double-edged sword, because as you take time out to get quiet, you then become the warrior. Okay. 3 is also associated with Mars. All right. Mars energy, I should say. Mars. So Mars is the warrior. All right. Mars comes in because 3 is also associated with the 3rd chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra. And Mars is associated with that willpower, which is why God is saying, look inside yourself. You understand? All these things are connected. So look inside yourself to your willpower, which is in your solar plexus, which is associated with Mars. Okay. So you then become the stronger person, so that you have the willpower to persevere. And in order to do that, you have to get grounded first, because you need that root chakra clear. All right. The other thing associated with 3, just like the positive aspects of 3, is the creativity, the ambition, the blending, the growth. The other thing, the message was to stop being so critical, all right, and judgmental, like the negative side of the 3s. Like he's saying, stop being so impatient. So it's like, that gets back to the grounding and being still. So what's happening is too much energy is flowing through you, and it's causing you almost like to short circuit. Okay. And so as you ground yourself and you become more solidified, your chakras, that root chakra and that solar plexus, will become active in the right way. Okay. They will spin in the right direction and generate the correct energy, so that you're able to look inside yourself and see what it is he wants you to see. Because again, he's only going to show you what he wants you to see, what I call behind the veil. Okay. And actually there are 4 different veils in the tree of life. So depending on where you are in the 3rd dimension, how spiritually inclined you are, where you are on that ascension process, that vibrational process, will determine which veil he will let you see, okay, behind. Because right now, if we're moving too far away from him, that means we're moving too far away from his spirituality to see what's behind the veil, to see him spiritually. You understand? So it's like, if we focus on material things too much, so that dense matter is too thick down here, you won't be able to see it. You're praying and you're praying and you're praying, but you're not doing the spiritual work that you need to do to clear out dense matter and dense energy around you to lighten it up so you can hear God, you can see and get the messages that he's trying to give you to answer your prayers. So while you're sitting there thinking God's not answering your prayers, he actually is, but you got to do your part. You got to meet him halfway, okay? The other thing about threes, there are different houses associated with astrology. It's like the sky is divided up into a 12-piece pie, okay? And part of that pie, or one aspect of that 12-piece pie, is what they call the houses, the astrological houses. The third house deals with communication, okay? And I can't even make all this stuff up even if I tried. Like, you see how these threes are being connected, his messages that's being told to you? The third house deals with communication. So in order for you to, again, relate to him, where you are communicating to him and he's communicating to you, you're communicating to him, he's trying to communicate to you, but you got to clear out that dense matter to get the message, okay? So that communication can be a two-way street and not just a one-way street. So that's how he broke it down to me, like how we can move closer to his kingdom, okay? You gotta look at the darkness. And so the darkness could be those aspects of yourself that you're either doing or you need to improve, like areas of improvement. Or it could be your shadow side. And your shadow side doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could be like those things that you don't feel so confident about. You know, like things you want to do, but you haven't had the courage to do it. So he's showing me that too. Like there's some people who are afraid. Okay? Like you're afraid to step out to do some things that you want to do. And it's not just about stepping out on faith. You have the faith. You just don't have the courage. Okay? So it's like you believe that he'll take care of everything, but you need that extra boost. That's why Mars is there for you. Okay? So Mars is going to come in as the warrior. He's very active. He's all about action. Okay? That Mars energy is going to come in to help you move things forward. But again, you kind of got to start opening your mind up to receive the spirituality behind these, like what the religion is teaching you. The doctrine is teaching you the religion. But you have to tap into your spiritual self to activate it. Okay? God doesn't live in a book. He lives in the realms. All right? So you have to take what you're learning from the book and apply it. Not just with prayer. Prayer is a communication tool. You know, it's one of the things he gives us to tap in, to communicate. Okay, again, communication, third house, third astrological house, okay? But you got to learn how to ground yourself, because if you're praying and you're trying to connect with him and you're just all over the place, it's like a static radio. Like your messages are staticky. You understand? So it's like, still yourself, get calm, get solidified, get grounded, then communicate up. Okay? Your messages will go through better that way. Then you're going to be able to hear his messages to you better and it'll be more clear. Okay? Those things that you are not afraid, it's like timid. I guess timid is a better word. You're very timid about certain things. Let the energy of Mars come in and help you. You can put that in your prayer, okay? God gives us these energies, these angels, which is also Archangel Michael, okay? He's in the mix with this message too. So you can use the energy of Archangel Michael. You can ask Archangel Michael through your divine. You always ask for permission first. If you know a certain thing has a certain power in spirit and in the divine, you ask God for permission to use it. Okay? You can ask through the Holy Spirit, through Jesus, through Muhammad, through, if you're referencing God as Allah, if you're referencing Jesus as Yahweh or Yahshua, use what you know. Okay? Use what you know, because God knows our heart and he knows what we're trying to do to connect with him. So use what's in your spiritual arsenal to connect, but ground yourself. This is what he's saying. We're moving too far away from his kingdom. His kingdom. And all that is. So it's like the planets. The planets have certain energy, just like the sun and the moon. We're so accustomed to the sun and the moon. A lot of times people are ignoring the 8 planets. Every planet has an energy that influences us here on Earth every day. Astrology is no joke, okay? We have 8 planets, 2 luminaries, the sun and the moon, and now they've found 5 additional planets, okay, with the technology that's out there. Each planet, and look that up, okay? Look up the characteristics of the planets, because they impact the events on Earth. They impact your personality. They are part of your blueprint that God made when he wrote your name in the book of names, and the constellation was in a certain position, okay, at a certain time on your birth date, your time, your longitude, your latitude. Boom, when you were born, that was a snapshot in time of your blueprint of who you are and your purpose and what you're here to do. All of that is in the stars, okay? So if he's saying we're moving too far away from his kingdom, you got to understand his kingdom is so much. It's not just what we're reading in doctrine. You have to look beyond that. Think about this. If we only relied on the doctrine that we were taught as far as just Black history, where will we be today if we stopped at what was in the books that we were taught during school, just in our own generation, okay? So much was left out, taken out, destroyed. They didn't want us to know. So if you want to know more about God and who he is, when he tells you seek his kingdom, ask, and he will answer, you have to do that. It's not all in the books, okay? You're going to have to trust that the spiritual realms are real. You're going to have to learn how to protect yourself when you deal with the spiritual realms. You're going to have to understand and recognize when God is communicating to you through the spiritual realms. All right? It's bigger than a book. Okay? And remember, gratefulness. That was the first thing. Well, actually, it was there were the 2 main things was gratefulness, and we're moving too far away from his kingdom. We got to get back to that. gratefulness. Now that could be he's showing like we're moving too far away from his kingdom, and he's showing and saying, make sure we're still grateful. Okay, make sure that in the midst of it all, even when shit hits the fan, be grateful. Okay, he's saying gratefulness. So make sure that you're thanking him, you're thanking your divine savior, that you're thanking your divine prophets, your divine ancestors. Make sure you're just being grateful and thankful. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. So if there's anything I said that you guys aren't clear on, feel free to reach out, contact me. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. And I just wanted to make sure I covered the messages that I got. And yeah, that's it for tonight. Tubes, everybody. Take care. Blessings.